Hello everybody and welcome back to a review series on United States cruisers. So if you've been following along, I've gone through pretty much all the light cruisers that I had. Still got one at tier 8 to get, but now we're going to start at the top of the list, but on the opposite end of the spectrum with heavy cruisers. So I kind of wanted to do this because a lot of people are working through bureau projects, trying to figure out what they want, what's a good ship, because they do take a lot of time and we don't want to waste that time. So this is going to be a review on the Alaska. This is a United States heavy cruiser. Very, very kind of small battleship, if you want to think of it in that way, to where it's got good AP, it's got decent armor for a cruiser, but it's not at the level of a battleship, but it is at a superior level for cruisers. So this one is a bureau project, so you have to go through the bureau, try to speed through that as best you can. You can whale it, you can buy boosts for it, otherwise you're going to have to select commanders, ships, play certain shifts to get boosts on the progress of Bureau project. But this was, I think, my first Bureau project that I ever did, 6 or 5 years ago, I can't remember anymore. So I've had this for a very long time. I don't play Legendary Tier too much, but when I do like taking out the Alaska. So if we're going to quickly look at her stats here, you can see that she's got a base health of 60,800, which is pretty dang good for a cruiser. We got the typical American torpedo reduction and fire resistance at 40%. Now, where a lot of people like this ship is for the guns. These guns for a cruiser absolutely slap. We got 9 305mm guns. Reload on my build, I got it down to 15.9 seconds. So it can easily destroy any other cruisers. You can switch to HE and absolutely obliterate destroyers. The reload, if you are close to a destroyer, it's going to get you into some trouble because it does take about 16 seconds for it to reload. But where it shines is being able to contest against battleships. You can burn them down, of course, if they're bow tanking, but if they are bow tanking, I would suggest starting your fires, switching to AP, spamming the Citadel, but if they are dumb enough to turn broadside to you, the Alaska can pin most battleships at this tier and tier 8 as well. So relatively slow turret traverse, that's because I got a commander that reduces that. I'm not going to go through all of these. These stats are, if you want to go nerd on them, you can, but I think the most important one, of course, is the reload time and the size of the barrels. Secondaries, nothing really to write home about. They're not bad necessarily. They can help against destroyers if they try to rush you. But if you're within 5 kilometers of a battleship, you're doing something wrong because this thing has no torps. So that's why a lot of people don't like the Alaska or a lot of the United States cruisers, because they don't have torps, minus a couple special ones like the Atlanta or the San Diego. AA defense, it's got good, solid AA defense. Again, American cruisers tend to do that. Maneuverability, she is chunky, not especially fast, doesn't turn especially sharp. Again, this is like a mini battleship, so don't play this like it's a light cruiser. Concealment, again, pretty trash. I could build into this, get it lowered. I'm not going to. Typically, I play the Alaska, again, relatively aggressively, so it doesn't really work for my build. So if you go to armor scheme, you can see here it's got 34 to 75 millimeter thick armor on the bow and the stern. It's got a relatively decent torpedo belt. Again, it absolutely can ricochet shells, but you get into some of those bigger BBs at legendary tier, it'll still tear through you. So mind your angling. Don't be stupid. Try to stay bow in as best you can. But yep, we got tough, superior AP damage, big and flammable, similar to the alternate French cruiser lines. This thing will burn for a while if you do catch fire. So if you are going against an Alaska in something like a cruiser, don't do AP unless it's broadside, burn the sucker down. So it does have a weakness in that regard, that it is flammable. It does not have torps, and maneuverability is pretty poor. But its strengths, it's got good armor, it's got great guns with a decent reload on that as well. So, take a look at the armor. Ooh and ah. Now, so far as commanders, I run Scott in pretty much all my American cruisers. You absolutely are welcome to argue with that. but I got him set up for full AP build. So we got his base trait here of cruiser main battery shell grouping at 5.7%. I am running Nikolai Kuznetsov for the range increase and Membeli for the reload time. I have played around a few different ways with this to where I will use a AP boost, or I will use a reduction in, what's it called, detectability. Here, I'm not sure what I was doing with this one, but it looks like I went for an HE build for my preset 2. I would not use this on Alaska. I was probably using this on something else. But if I was going to do this again, I would probably go ahead, and we'll do it actually. I already know who I want. We want the AP boost. I think it's Luchens. It's a German. No, not that one. Luchens, yeah. I don't have him fully maxed out, but this would give you a big increase in your AP damage. Let's see here, preset 3. Let's just go ahead with that. Punch through. Okay. But this would be my alternate build besides one speccing into AP. But I'd rather get Membeli's reload time, and I like the range. So we got range, we got reload time. I've got more range with beyond range here at 10%. I did stick with igniter on this one, punch through AP damage. So I want my shells to penetrate, and I want them to hurt. And then of course we got my accuracy, shell grouping, dispersion, and we're going to finish off with more reload time reduction and more battery range. So this gets us out to, let's see here, 18.7 kilometers, which is great. If you do not have all that on, I think you're looking at around 16.5 kilometers, which to me at legendary tier, I don't like it. I like being able to have that range. So the gun's good, AP great. If we look at the consumables here, we got your standard damage control party. You get infinite in ones of these. You got your sonar. You can switch this out for AA. Again, I don't do that. Yes, it would be nice if I'm getting harassed, but to me this is waste. I don't like this. It runs so short. Yes, it takes out a few planes, but most of these carriers can respawn planes right out of thin air, so I don't really play with that one. I do run radar. It's going to be far more useful than a fighter plane. Again, you can launch these fighters. It'll take out maybe one of the enemy planes, so not useful to me. They used to be able to spot long time ago, so they had some use there, but that's no longer here, so I will stick with my radar. 9 kilometer, you can try to spec this into a radar build to where you can get your radar about to the same distance as your detectability. That way, if you're spotted, you can just pop this, and you're gonna figure out who's spotting you. I don't have that. My concealment's pretty poor. Again, I spec'd into weapons, guns, etc. But this gives you good intel against destroyers or anybody kind of sneaking around any kind of islands. So this is good for team play. It's wonderful. And of course, we got your heal. So if we go to, nope, that's it. All right, so let's go ahead and play this thing. Load her up. Oh, no, sorry, we forgot. Silly me. So far as upgrades, I have gone with aiming systems mod. I love my accuracy. I want to hit something when I shoot something. But you can alternatively go for secondary on this ship. I think it's a huge waste to go with a secondary build on this. Maybe if you get like a brawl season and all you can pick is legendary cruisers, maybe switch it. But there's a bunch of other legendary cruisers that'd be far better to brawl. But you could do that, I suppose. You got AA firing range, you can do a full AA build, and then you got traverse speed. Again, I got a rudder shift on this that I think is good enough where I don't need the traverse speed on the main battery. Then for this one, I went with propulsion mod. I used to have the steering gears mod, but I kind of favor brake checking to dodge shells as opposed to turning to dodge. I still really like wiggle builds, but with the Alaska in particular, it's so damn big and chunky that it just can't turn the same way as these light cruisers. So even though this does help its sluggish turning, it just doesn't help it enough to play how I would play different types of cruisers. So I did stick, or I went with propulsion mod 2. You got to do the concealment systems. You have to. I mean, I always do. It's almost standard. It is very, very tempting to go with chromium-plated barrels. However, I got so many daggum accuracy perks already on this. At this point, it's a law of diminishing returns. You're just not going to get that much more than I already have. It's not going to make that big of a difference. If you combine steering gears mod with the this mod, I already forgot what it was called. There you go. With this steering gears mod, and then you pop on this, it's going to help. But again, with the Alaska being so big and chunky, I just don't think it's worth it. But that would be the only other one that I might put on besides concealment system mod for this build. But yeah, play around with it, see what you like on that. Then of course for this one, I got main battery mod 2 or 3, so I got reload time reduced by 10%, traverse speed I don't really care about too much. With my rudder I can turn into that. But main battery dispersion, again, you could do this. This was very tempting for me. I did not, because I don't really need to be taking shots at 20 kilometers away. I'm going to be closer than that 90% of the time anyway, so it makes no sense. This one is good if you are super irritated with carrier players and all those damn Dutch cruisers, and now the Japanese battleship hybrids, and now the United States battleship hybrids. There's a lot more planes these days than there has been in days of yonder year. So this could be very valuable for you. With the Alaska already having good AA, you could be a beast, especially if you wanted to upgrade that. Now, I did not upgrade any of these. I didn't put steel into it, but you can if you want to, and this is going to give you more perks if you get certain damage barriers, in this case 30,000 damage. If you were to upgrade it again, you get more perks based on if you got someone killed. So or if you killed somebody, not if you got someone killed. So there are many different ways to boost this further than what I already have it, but I went full AP, full accuracy build on this. Alright, let's play. I do want to put on some flags. I got them, so let's use them. Now, if you notice, I don't put anything in this one. This is not a tech tree ship. It's a legendary tier anyway. There's no point in XP boosters unless you're just trying to farm for elite XP, which, okay, not in this ship. So don't waste them on that. There's no point. Alright, here we go. Okay, we spawned on the flank. This is great, and I think it's going to be a good showcase for it. We got land of fire. So this map can be tricky, especially in this spawn, because you usually get stuck off to the right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sail off to the right, then I'm going to bow in towards the middle of C. That way I can stop people going on the flank. And hopefully they go towards B, and I get sweet broadsides, and I can just pop them all the live long day. So here we go, 11.4 concealment. So I'm going to be spotted pretty quickly. So I am turning quite hard at first, because remember, I'm going to turn, again, hard back to the left to bow in. So right now it's all about just getting positioning and angle. But she's a pretty boat. I got, I think, the Christmas camo on this, of all things. So back in the day, I didn't have very many camos, so I put on whatever I had. But this does come with, it's not legendary camo, it's historical camo. We did not get a destroyer on this side, so the spotting is all up to the cruisers and the battleship. I don't think our battleship's really going to be moving. But you can see, I'm as far forward as I want to be in this thing. It's not very agile. And our spotting range is right about to the edge of C right now. So I think that's pretty good. We're going to creep a little bit further forward, because we don't have any support right now, because Henri is behind the island. But I'm assuming he is setting up to spam behind that island, which is good. Our battleship, I don't know what Yamato's doing. Pretending to be a sniper. No such thing as sniper builds in this game. Please stop that. Alright, so here's the Grosser, the Grover. He was spotted. We're going to creep forward. Again, without a spotter, it becomes more difficult. Not impossible, just more difficult. Especially in a cruiser, you don't want to get spotted early because then you just get shellacked. I am going to hold my shot. I don't know this. I did not know where this guy was. So now we know they're coming across the flank. Like I mentioned earlier, we knew this would probably happen. Alright. We got a Worcester fully broadside. Now you turn. That's disappointing. Shame. Big shame. Alright, so we are backing up a little bit because they're pressing hard. And we are all alone. I think he was turning. I think I was wrong, though. We'll see. Okay, so he's not presenting broadside. I'm going to keep it AP. Because the Worcester is lightly armored, and I think I can take advantage of that. He might turn into these. I don't want him to spot me, so I'm going to try to push forward, keep this island cover. You can see this reload boost, or not boost, but the reload time is great.
All stations requesting fire on the
Oh, we completely missed. The shell grouping, great. Love it.
Our team has taken the lead.
We're going to be patient. We do not need to rush in. Like that chap, the Indiana. I don't approve of that, but it is what it is. Now, Worcester's firing, so... we'll see what happens here. I might have led him too much. Oh, popped him. Got two citadels. Yeah, we gotta be careful now because we are out here more or less alone. There's a broadside Colombo. Woo, you're getting popped. So it's a 1v3 essentially because my team is left. So you can see here our cruiser decided to abandon sea. Yamato got popped, so he was at least taking fire.
The ship is on fire.
We're going to shoot our fellow Alaska. So we're in a bad situation here, but you can see here I'm able to tank to some degree. Again, this is not ideal. We are going to probably go out pretty quick.
Problem solved, sir.
But this is great for just showing you things can go wrong. So Yami got a good pop. But you can see here how aggressive they were. Even if our Henri stuck around, I'm not sure if he would have made that much of a difference. That Colombo in Alaska, they're doing weird stuff. There it goes. So not a whole lot we could do there. But showed you what she could take. The Worcester was popping us from the back. The Alaska, of course, was there. Colombo was our death sentence. But 1v3, she lasted well enough. We only got 54k. You can see what kind of damage it did against the Worcester. But that is it for this review. Again, this is a good ship. This was just, bad circumstance for the game. If you watch me at all, you know I can't stand it when people leave their spawn. So shame on this Henri for absolutely abandoning us. You saw the Indiana just YOLO straight into B, so that flank was wide open. Yami, he stuck around. I don't mind what he did. But yeah, they pressed real hard. Kudos to them. They stuck together as a team, so that's some tactics for you as well. That's not really part of the ship review, but that's just my personal little rant. But Alaska, great boat. I'll probably do another Alaska video, pop that up there. But this was just a review, the kind of introduction to the Alaska, what it is, kind of how to play it. Even though that's a huge loss and we went out kind of early, really kind of shows you what she's good at. She did bow tank for a little bit. Again, She's not a battleship, but you can see there that even as a cruiser, it was able to harass and just irritate them for at least a little bit. So great ship. I do love it. Easily give it a, we'll give it a 8.2 out of 10 on the likability scale. But if you like this, by all means, subscribe. I'm going to be doing more reviews. We're just going to go through all the American cruisers first, and then I'll move on to a different tech tree. If you got one you would like to see, just put a comment in there. I don't do a whole lot of editing, so these are just one takes. Just trying to keep it very real. I'm fine putting losses in there because we all lose. So you'll learn a lot from your losses, but if I showed you a 4.1K experience game in this, that's more unrealistic than what I just showed you. So I hope that's refreshing to some degree. But this ship does, have carryability to some extent, but it just can't completely carry a 1v3 situation. Yes, Yami was there, but they weren't shooting the Yami at that time. It was just me. And that's part of the game. So can't hate it. It is what it is. But y'all take it easy, and we'll see you around.